Steve woke up in his Minecraft world, stretched his blocky arms, and looked out of his wooden house. The sun was shining, pigs were snorting, and bees were buzzing happily. It was another warm summer day in the Plains biome. As Steve grabbed his diamond pickaxe, he heard a squeaky voice near his carrot farm. Hey, guess what, Steve? It was Bugsy, a tiny green grasshopper mob Steve had recently befriended. Bugsy hopped up and down so fast he almost looked like he was glitching. "What's up, Bugsy?" Steve asked. "Just heard the strangest rumor," Bugsy said. "Mushrooms told me that in some lands, water turns hard. Like, really hard, they call it. Ice." Steve chuckled. "Of course, ice is real, Bugsy. I've been to snowy biomes before. The rivers freeze solid, and you can slide across them." Bugsy tilted his little head and said, "That's impossible. Water is always splashy and wet. I drink it, I swim in it, I see it every day. How could it suddenly turn into something else?" "You're pulling my antennae, Steve." "Trust me," Steve said. "When it gets cold enough, water becomes ice, and snow falls from the sky like tiny white blocks." Bugsy hopped in circles, laughing so hard his wings buzzed. "Ha ha ha, snow falling from the sky. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Next you'll tell me chickens lay square eggs." Steve raised an eyebrow. "Bugsy, chickens do lay square eggs. You've seen them?" Bugsy froze. "Oh, right." Then he waved his legs dramatically. "But still, does water turn into ice? Fake news. If I haven't seen it, it can't be real." Steve sighed. "You know, Bugsy, there's an old saying, a summer bug can't be told about ice. Bugs like you only live in warm weather, so it's hard for you to believe in things you haven't experienced." Bugsy puffed up proudly. "Well then, I'm proud to be a summer bug. Water will never turn hard." End of story. The next morning, Steve decided to prove it. He packed his sword, torches, and lots of bread. "Come on, Bugsy. We're going on an adventure." Adventure. Bugsy's eyes sparkled. "Are we finding treasure, fighting Endermen, mining diamonds?" "Better," Steve said. "We're going to the snowy tundra biome. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you." Bugsy groaned. "Fine, but don't expect me to believe in your made-up ice when we get there." So off they went, through forests, across rivers, and over mountains. Along the way, Bugsy chattered non-stop. "See, Steve, the water here is still splashy. Told you so. Ice is just a fairy tale." Finally, after many Minecraft days, they reached the snowy biome. White blocks stretched as far as the eye could see. Snow fell gently from the sky, covering Steve's helmet and even sticking to Bugsy's antennae. I'm freezing," Bugsy shivered. "What is this stuff? It's cold?" Steve grinned. "Snow? I told you." Bugsy stuck out his tongue, catching a snowflake. "It's freezing, but it's so pretty." They walked further until they reached a frozen river. The surface glittered like glass, smooth and solid. Steve stepped onto it and slid across with a whoosh. Bugsy's eyes almost popped out as he yelled, "What is that?" "It's ice," Steve said simply. Bugsy hopped onto the river cautiously, but instead of walking gracefully, he slipped flat on his back. "Oh my, it's real." Water turned hard. Steve helped him up, chuckling. "See, just because you've never seen it before doesn't mean it doesn't exist." Bugsy blushed. "I guess I was being a real summer bug, eh? Okay, acting like I knew everything when I didn't." They spent the rest of the day playing. Steve built a snow golem who waddled around happily throwing snowballs. Bugsy laughed so hard he forgot about being cold. This is the best adventure ever. Ice is awesome. Snow is amazing. I can't believe I didn't believe you. Steve patted him gently. Sometimes, if we have never seen something, it's hard to imagine it. But that doesn't mean it isn't true. The world, just like Minecraft, is full of surprises waiting to be discovered. Bugsy nodded seriously, then immediately slipped on the ice again. From that day on, Bugsy became curious instead of stubborn. Whenever Steve or the villagers told him about something new, like nether fortresses or strange glowing blocks in the end, he didn't laugh anymore. Instead, he said, "I'll believe it when I see it. Let's go find out." Moral of the story: a summer bug can't understand ice because it has never experienced it. In the same way, we shouldn't laugh at things we haven't seen yet. Stay curious, stay open-minded, and the world, just like Minecraft, will keep surprising you. Hope you liked the video today and learned a little wisdom. See you in the next video, kids. Our story today is called Naruto and the Forgotten Hero. In the Hidden Leaf Village, there was once a time when peace seemed impossible. Rogue ninjas from neighboring lands constantly attacked the borders. Villagers were scared. The temporary Hokage was Danzo at that time for a short period of time. He tried many defenses, but the enemy ninjas were sneaky and clever. Naruto, who was still training hard to be acknowledged, wanted to help. But instead of charging in recklessly, he noticed someone unusual living quietly on the edge of the forest. It was a retired shinobi named Taro. Taro was not famous like Kakashi or Jiraiya. He had no flashy jutsu, but he owned something rare, an ancient sealing technique that could trap dozens of enemies at once. Naruto thought, if Taro helps, we can protect the village. So he went to Taro's hut. Taro-sensei, Naruto begged, "The village is in danger. Please lend us your jutsu. With it, we can defeat the rogues." Taro sighed. He had been forgotten for years, living alone with little food. "Why should I help them? They never cared for me." Naruto, never giving up, shouted, "Because if you help, everyone will see your true worth. You'll be a hero again. Believe it?" At last, Taro agreed. He taught Naruto how to channel chakra into the sealing scrolls. Together, they set traps along the village borders. When the rogues attacked, the seals exploded with glowing chains. Dozens of enemies were captured, unable to move. The Leaf Shinobi rushed forward and defeated the rest easily. Everyone cheered. The village was safe. The Hokage Danzo praised Naruto for his bravery. The villagers showered him with food and gifts, but poor Taro, who had provided the technique, stood silently in the shadows. Naruto shouted, "Wait, everyone! Taro-sensei is the one who made this possible." Danzo bowed politely to Taro and said, "Thank you for your service." But after the excitement faded, no one visited Taro's hut. They returned to their busy lives. The sealing scrolls were locked away in the Hokage's tower, never used again. Weeks passed. With no more rogue ninjas, the village had peace. Naruto kept training. The Hokage and the villagers no longer spoke of Taro. One day, when Taro went to the market, the shopkeeper said coldly, "Sorry, we cannot give food for free anymore." Taro returned to his lonely hut. He whispered bitterly, "The birds are gone, so the bow is hidden. When danger came, they called me. Now that peace has returned, they have cast me aside. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channels. Thank you." Naruto heard this and felt guilty. He rushed to Taro. "Don't be sad, Sensei. Even if others forget, I won't. I'll remember that you helped us when no one else could." But Taro only smiled weakly. "Naruto, you are different. You understand loyalty. But many people value others only when they are useful. That is the way of the world. Never forget this truth." Years later, when Naruto finally became Hokage, he often remembered Taro's words. He made a rule in the village that no shinobi, retired or weak, would ever be forgotten after serving. He kept teaching young ninjas in school. We must honor those who helped us, even when we no longer need their skills. Otherwise, we repeat the mistake of using people like tools. Our story today came from an old saying that is used when people are often valued only when they are useful. Once their purpose has been served, they may be cast aside or forgotten. just like a hunting bow that is put away after all the birds are gone. And the deeper lesson is, we should not treat others as disposable tools. True wisdom and kindness means showing gratitude and respect, even after someone's usefulness has ended. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Let's send a message to our old friend, whom we haven't talked to for a while, and tell her that we miss the good old times. Yay! Let's do that. See you tomorrow, kid. You are great audiences. Our story is called The Colorful Four Crew. Once upon a time, in a school called Little River Elementary, 4 kids always seemed to get into trouble together. They weren't bad kids. They just had very different ways of doing things. Their teacher, Ms. Taylor, liked to call them the Colorful Four Crew. Red Robbie was loud, bold, and loved to be in charge. If you didn't know what to do, Robbie would shout, "Follow me," even if he had no plan at all. Yellow Yasmin was bubbly, funny, and could make friends with a rock. She was full of ideas, at least 10 ideas per minute. The problem was, she almost never finished any of them. Green George was calm, steady, and liked everything to stay the same. He never rushed, never panicked, and preferred cozy, safe routines. Blue Bella was precise, careful, and always had a ruler, calculator, and notebook in her backpack. She wanted everything perfect and got annoyed when things were messy. One day, Ms. Taylor gave them a special task. "Class," she said, "this Friday is the school fair. Every group must make a booth. You 4 will work together." Red Robbie jumped up and shouted, "Yes, we're going to make the best booth ever. Maybe a rocket booth, or a dunk tank, or a puppy petting zoo," added Yellow Yasmin, bouncing in her chair. "Or a booth where you can dress like pirates and throw bananas." "Bananas?" whispered Blue Bella, horrified. She had already pulled out her notebook. "We should make a list. Step 1, decide on a theme. Step 2, gather supplies. Step 3 is to take a nap," interrupted Green George. "I think we should do something simple. Maybe a quiet reading booth, nice and relaxing." The 4 of them stared at each other. Oh, they went to the art room to start planning. That's when the arguing began. "I'm the leader," shouted Red Robbie. "No, I'm the leader," shouted Yellow Yasmin, juggling 3 paintbrushes. "There should be no leader," said Green George, yawning. "We should all just relax." "There has to be a leader," insisted Blue Bella, "but it should be the one with the most accurate chart, which is me." The art teacher walked by and saw glue, glitter, and arguments flying everywhere. She backed out of the room slowly. Since they couldn't agree, each of them decided to make their own booth. Red Robbie made a booth where kids had to climb a rope and ring a giant bell. But it was so hard that most kids fell down and cried. Robbie shouted, "Try harder," which didn't help. Yellow Yasmin made a booth where you could put on silly hats, eat cookies, and dance to loud music. It was fun for about 3 minutes until she got distracted and wandered off, leaving frosting everywhere. Green George made a nap-time tent. It was soft, cozy, and full of pillows. But soon, the kids didn't want to leave. The principal had to drag 3 students out because they refused to get up. Blue Bella made a booth where you had to answer math questions and measure triangles. The few kids who tried it ran away screaming, "This is too hard." By the end of the day, all 4 booths were disasters. Back in the classroom, the crew exploded. "Abby, your booth was too hard." "Well, Yasmin, yours was too messy." "George, nobody should be sleeping at a fair." "And Bella, you turned it into homework." "Ah," groaned Robbie. "It's like I'm surrounded by kids who don't understand me." They all crossed their arms and refused to look at each other. Ms. Taylor walked in and saw the gloomy faces. She smiled gently. "That's not true, Robbie," she said. "You're surrounded by differently colored personalities. Robbie, you're red, so you like action. Yasmin, you're yellow, you bring fun. George, you're green and you bring calm. Bella, you're blue, you bring order." The kids blinked. But alone, each color is missing something. Ms. Taylor continued, "A rainbow only shines when all the colors work together. Am I right?" The four colorful personalities decided to try again, but this time by mixing their strengths. Robbie used his energy to set up the booth quickly. Yasmin decorated it with balloons, glitter, and jokes to make it exciting. George made sure there were cozy chairs so the kids wouldn't get overwhelmed. Bella organized everything into neat sections and made sure the rules were clear. Their booth became the ultimate gaming zone. First, the kids had to throw rings, Robbie's idea. Then they could wear a funny hat and take a picture, Yasmin's idea. After that, they got a short rest on a beanbag chair, George's idea. Finally, they received a neat little prize ticket, which was Bella's idea. It was a hit. Kids lined up all around the gym. Parents cheered. Even the principal wore a chicken hat and sat on a beanbag chair. At the end of the fair, Ms. Taylor announced, "The Best Booth Award goes to," drumroll please, "the colorful 4 crew." Even though Bella complained that it was wrinkling her shirt, the kids hugged. Robbie laughed. "Okay, maybe I wasn't surrounded by kids who don't understand me." Yasmin giggled. "Just surrounded by silly friends." George yawned. "We need a break after our celebration." Bella sighed. "Okay, I'll put that on my agenda today." Everyone laughed. And from that day on, whenever they got annoyed with each other, they remembered the school fair. Red brings action, yellow brings fun, green brings calm, and blue brings order. Together, they're unstoppable. Remember, there are no right or wrong color personalities. The end. Our story today is called Naruto Summoned the Donkey Kong. Naruto Uzumaki was never the kind of person to sit still and read boring scrolls. He liked ramen, training, and pulling pranks on his friends. But one sunny afternoon, Kakashi-sensei gave him a strange mission. "Your task," Kakashi said lazily while flipping a book, "is to learn the story of Doctor buying a donkey and then explain it to the whole class." Naruto's jaw dropped. "What? Why me? Can't Shikamaru do it? He's the brainy one." Kashi's single eye curved like a smile. "Consider it training. Chi, ninja must also train his mind." Naruto groaned louder than his stomach before lunch. Still, he accepted the mission. At the library, Naruto found a huge dusty scroll titled "Doctor Buys a Donkey." A full explanation, he unrolled it, expecting to read something short and easy. Instead, the scroll was endless. It's all about words, words, and even more words. "Why is this thing so long?" Naruto cried. "It's just about buying a donkey," the scroll began. "When a donkey is to be purchased, one must first consider the quality of its hooves, the length of its ears, and the endurance of its back. Furthermore, the price must be negotiated with precision, considering market supply, demand, and the zodiac calendar." Naruto's eyes swirled like he was hit with genjutsu. He fell backward, drooling. Suddenly, a wild donkey appeared in front of him. Its ears wiggled, and it gave a loud heave. "Ka!" Naruto jumped up. "Did I summon a donkey by accident?" The donkey chewed lazily on the floor and said, "Nah, kid. I just got tired of waiting in that scroll. Do you know how long they've been talking about me without actually buying me?" Naruto blinked. "Wait, you can talk." "Of course," said the donkey. "My name is Kang. I've been stuck in explanations for centuries. That silly doctor wrote and wrote, but never got to the point. I'm still waiting for someone to actually buy me." Naruto scratched his head. "So, the story of Doctor buying a donkey means someone talking too much without actually doing anything." Kong nodded, wagging his tail. "Exactly. The doctor wasted pages describing how to buy me, but never spent a single coin." Naruto's grin returned. "Oh, that's easy, then. I'll explain it super quick tomorrow." Done. But then he remembered. Kakashi wanted him to make it a proper lesson. That meant Naruto had to talk in front of Sakura, Sasuke, Shikamaru, and the others. He didn't want to sound dumb. so he practiced. That night, Naruto stood in front of a mirror. He puffed out his chest and practiced for a couple of hours. The donkey clapped his hooves in the end and said, "Not bad, kid." Naruto blushed. "Thanks, but it still feels too short." "What if I sound dumb compared to Shikamaru?" Kong smirked. "Well, you could always make it funny." Naruto's eyes sparkled. "That's it. I'll do it the Naruto way." Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. The next day, all the young ninjas gathered. Shikamaru yawned. Sakura looked curious, and Sasuke just crossed his arms like usual. Kakashi nodded. "All right, Naruto, the stage is yours." Naruto dragged a big sheet into the classroom. Behind it was the donkey, munching on carrots. "Ladies and gentlemen," Naruto shouted dramatically, "I present to you, drumroll please, the Donkey Kong." Everyone gasped. Naruto continued. There was an old doctor once wanted to buy a donkey. But instead of just buying it, he wrote a million words explaining how to buy one. He never even spent money. He just talked. That's what the story is about. Lots of words, zero action. The donkey raised his hoof. Exactly. For years, I was stuck listening to blah 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 about my ears, my tail, my hooves. But did anyone buy me? No. So remember, don't be like the doctor. If you want ramen, eat ramen. If you want a donkey, just buy the donkey. Everyone laughed. Even Sasuke's lips twitched. Shikamaru muttered, "Troublesome, but surprisingly clear." Sakura giggled and said, "Naruto, that's actually pretty good." Kakashi clapped once. "Well done, Naruto. You didn't just explain the wisdom behind the story, you brought it to life." Naruto beamed, his cheeks glowing. After class, Kong followed Naruto around the village. "Hey, kid, thanks for finally setting me free from that scroll. So, what now?" Naruto rubbed his chin. "Well, I always wanted a pet, but a talking donkey might be." Usual." Kang smirked. "Unusual is good. Besides, I can carry your ramen home in bulk." Naruto's eyes sparkled as he said, "Best partner ever." The phrase "doctor buying a donkey" means talking endlessly without getting to the point. Naruto learned that explanations are fun, but action matters more. Sometimes the best lesson is not in the scrolls, but in the actions. Hope you liked the video today. Share this silly story with your friends. Will you? See you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Today, our story is called The Troublemaker Horse. Once upon a time, in a peaceful green valley, there lived a big herd of horses. These horses were proud, strong, and known far and wide for their teamwork and harmony. Every morning, they ran across the fields together, their manes flying in the wind, their hooves thundering like drums. Farmers loved them, travelers trusted them, and even the birds enjoyed flying above them. But one day, everything changed. A new horse joined the herd. His name is Flash. Flash had shiny black fur, a lightning-shaped mark on his side, and a big, big ego. He trotted in with his head high and his tail even higher. "Hello, fellow horses." Flash neighed loudly. "I'm Flash, the fastest horse you'll ever meet. I don't follow rules, but I make them." The other horses looked at each other, unsure. "Well, day AM, welcome to the herd," said a calm brown mare named Willow. "Here, we all work together. Everyone has a job." Flash flicked his tail. "Jobs are boring. I'm here to have fun, man." At first, the herd tried to be patient. Maybe Flash just needed time to adjust, but the problems came quickly. Incident number 1. Every day, the horses took turns drinking from the water hole. But Flash didn't like waiting. "Move it, slowpokes," he said one day, pushing others aside and splashing everyone. "Flash, we take turns," Willow reminded him gently. Flash just laughed. "Turns are for turtles, not stallions like me." Incident number 2. There was a wooden bridge the horses used to cross a river. It was narrow, so they crossed one by one. But Flash didn't like waiting in line. "Let's race across," he shouted, charging ahead and knocking 2 ponies into the water. They weren't hurt, but they were soaked and scared. "Flash," the herd shouted. "What?" he snorted. They should have moved faster. Incident number 3. At night, the horses slept peacefully under the stars. But Flash, he loved mission. He kicked over haystacks, bit sleeping tails, and once, he even painted a cow to look like a zebra using mud. The horses were not amused, so the herd gets tired of him. One evening, the horses gathered for a meeting. "This can't go on," said Willow. "He pushed the foals into the pond today," said another horse, "and chewed Farmer's hat," added a third. "He scares the chickens," shouted a pony. The whole herd neighed in agreement. Flash was ruining everything, Willow said. Flash is what the old saying calls a horse that harms the whole herd. One bad horse can ruin the reputation and peace of the entire group. "But what can we do?" asked a young horse. "Let's give him one more chance," Willow. "We'll talk to him together." The next day, the herd met Flash at sunrise. "Flash," Willow said kindly but firmly, "we need to talk." "Talk about how awesome I am," Flash neighed. "Talk about how your actions hurt the group. You push, you break rules, you scare others. You are becoming James Franco in the film industry." Flash blinked. "James who?" "It means the horse that harms the herd. In any group, one selfish member can ruin it for everyone." "Huh," Flash said, actually quiet for once. The other horses nodded. "We want you to stay," said Willow, "but you need to change." Flash looked down at his hooves. I didn't know it was that bad," he admitted. "I thought I was being fun. I didn't mean to scare anyone." "It's not too late," said Willow. "But actions speak louder than words." Flash didn't say much that day. But the next morning, something surprising happened. He waited his turn at the waterhole. He helped an old horse across the bridge. He even apologized to the chickens. The herd watched, amazed. Day after day, Flash tried harder. He stopped kicking haystacks, he shared his snacks, and he even taught the foals how to gallop faster without pushing them into ponds. Months passed, and the herd was happy again. One afternoon, a traveler came by. "Such fine horses," he said to Farmer. "But who's that one, with the lightning mark? He looks like trouble." Farmer laughed. "That one. That's Flash. He used to be a troublemaker. But now, he's our fastest helper." And from that day on, Flash had a new title: the horse who learned to help others. Moral of the story: in every group, whether it's horses, students, or friends, there are rules, trust, and teamwork. If one person breaks the rules, it can harm everyone. That is why the old saying teaches us a lesson: one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. But the story of Flash reminds us that even a troublemaker can change if they choose to listen, learn, and try. So next time you see someone acting like a troublemaker in a group, maybe give them a chance, just like Flash did. But I have to say, I liked Flash so much. His style, his swag, and his person. I guess as he grows older and when it's time for him to join the society and workforce, he has to make a lot changes to fit in.
In the world of Minecraft, Steve was always curious. He loved mining diamonds, building houses, and fighting zombies, but more than anything, Steve loved finding out secrets. If villagers whispered to each other, Steve's blocky ears perked up. If someone chatted behind a wall, he just had to press his square head closer to hear. One bright morning, Steve wandered through the village marketplace. He passed by two villagers near the library. They were whispering so quietly that barely any sound came out. Steve tilted his head. What are they saying? Must be important. He tiptoed closer and leaned against the cobblestone wall. Tomorrow, special chest, one villager mumbled. Keep it a surprise, the other replied. Steve's eyes went wide. A special chest. His mind exploded with ideas. It must be a chest full of diamonds, or maybe enchanted golden apples. He pressed his ear tighter to the wall, so hard that his square nose squished against it. Just then, Alex, his best friend, walked up behind him. Steve, what are you doing? Are you sniffing the wall? Steve jumped. No, just checking for cracks. You know, structural safety. Alex raised an eyebrow. Really? Or are you eavesdropping again? Steve laughed nervously. Maybe a little, but listen. They said something about a special chest tomorrow. Alex sighed. Steve, have you ever heard the old saying, the walls have ears? If you listen to other people's secrets, you might hear things you're not supposed to, and you could get the wrong idea. Steve tilted his square head. What? The walls have ears. Alex giggled. No, silly. It just means someone might overhear secrets if they're too curious, like you. But Steve wasn't paying attention anymore. His imagination was running wild. A hidden chest, a surprise. This must be a treasure hunt. That night, Steve couldn't sleep. He kept rolling in his bed, made of red wool, dreaming of mountains of diamonds, piles of emeralds, and a chest overflowing with golden carrots. The next morning, Steve woke up extra early. He rushed to the village square and watched everyone closely. He was sure someone would lead him to the mysterious chest. At the farm, he overheard a farmer villager say, "Tomorrow will be so much fun." At the blacksmith's, another villager mumbled, "I hope he likes it." Steve's blocky heart pounded. Are they planning a surprise for me? Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. By noon, Steve was convinced that the villagers had discovered how brave he was in fighting creepers and were planning the biggest thank you party in Minecraft history. The next day, Steve dressed in his best diamond armor and polished his diamond sword until it sparkled. He walked proudly into the village square, ready to hear the words, "Surprise, Steve." But nothing happened. The villagers sold bread, traded emeralds, and went about their day as usual. Steve frowned. Weird. Maybe they're waiting until later. Finally, he noticed a big crowd gathering near the library. Balloons made of colorful wool blocks floated in the air. A giant cake made of sugar, wheat, and eggs sat on a table. A banner made from bright dyes hung above the crowd. Steve's eyes lit up. This is it. This must be my party. He ran forward, puffing out his chest. But then he stopped. The banner didn't say his name. Instead, it read, "Happy birthday, villager number 23. Steve's jaw dropped. Villager number 23, not me. The birthday villager waved happily, surrounded by friends. Everyone cheered and clapped. Alex walked up behind Steve and smirked. See, it wasn't about you. That's what happens when you eavesdrop and make assumptions. Steve's blocky face turned red. But, I thought. The villagers laughed kindly. Villager number 23 even handed Steve a slice of cake. Don't look so sad, Steve, even if it's not your party. There's always enough cake to share. Moral of the story: the walls have ears. The phrase is used when secrets can easily be overheard, and sneaky listening often causes funny misunderstandings. It's always better to be patient and honest than to sneak around trying to hear what's not meant for you. Hope you liked the video today. See you tomorrow, kids. Naruto and his water-style jutsu. One hot summer day in the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto Uzumaki was running around, looking for something exciting to do. He had already eaten 3 bowls of ramen that morning, and Ichiraku was closed for a break. Bored, he kicked a pebble down the street and shouted, "Man, I need some action today. Maybe a mission, or a fight, or something cool." Just then, smoke began to rise from the training field near the forest. Villagers were shouting, and children were running away from the area. Fire, fire, fire. Someone cried. Naruto's eyes lit up, not because he liked fire, but because this was finally something dramatic. He dashed toward the scene. Sure enough, a giant pile of logs in the training field had caught fire, probably from someone careless's cigarette butt. The flames were spreading quickly. Several ninja were already there, trying to put it out. Naruto puffed up his chest. Don't worry, everyone. The future Hokage is here. I'll take care of this fire all by myself. A villager holding a bucket looked doubtful and said, Naruto, this is dangerous. We need a whole team with proper water-style jutsu. But Naruto wasn't listening. He spotted a small wooden cup lying near a water barrel. He filled it up, ran to the fire, and tossed the tiny splash of water at the roaring flames. The fire hissed for half a second, then burned even bigger, as if laughing at him. Man, that didn't work, Naruto muttered. He tried again, scooping another tiny cup of water. Splash! Nothing changed. He did it again and again. Soon Naruto was running back and forth, his face sweaty, his arms sore, tossing one little cup of water at a time. Behind him, the villagers sighed. This is useless. A cup of water each time against this much fire is useless. Can't you use your water-style jutsu? Naruto heard that, but stubbornly shouted back, I wish I could summon a water dragon. This is literally my water-style jutsu. I'll just do it faster. Believe it. He made a shadow clone, then another, then 10. Soon, dozens of Narutos were running in circles, each one with a little wooden cup. The scene looked more like a comedy show than a rescue mission. One clone tripped and splashed water on another clone. Hey, watch it! The soaked Naruto yelled before poofing into smoke. Another clone got distracted, drinking the water instead. Ah, refreshing. Meanwhile, the fire kept spreading. The villagers grew nervous. What if it reaches the houses? Someone said. Naruto's heart pounded. He wanted to help, but the truth was clear. No matter how many cups he used, it wasn't enough. He dropped the cup and looked at the flames, feeling frustrated. Dang it. It really is just like throwing a cup of water at a mountain of firewood. Totally pointless. At that moment, a calm voice spoke behind him. Naruto, sometimes effort alone isn't enough. You need the right method. It was Kakashi Sensei. He walked forward casually, as if the blazing fire was just another training exercise. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks, you are awesome. He formed quick hand signs and released a massive water release. Water Dragon Bullet Technique. A giant dragon made of water roared out, crashing into the fire. Steam exploded everywhere, and when it cleared, the flames were gone. Only wet, smoking logs remained. The villagers cheered. Naruto scratched his head, embarrassed, and said, Oh no, I guess I overdid it with the cup idea. Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder. You showed courage and determination, Naruto. But bravery without strategy can waste energy. Remember, when a problem is huge, small actions that don't match the scale won't solve it. That's what people mean by the old saying, a cup of water can't put out a cartload of burning firewood. Naruto frowned. So, I was just being dumb. Kakashi's eye curved into a smile. Not dumb, just learning. Sometimes we all try small fixes for big problems. The key is to recognize when you need a bigger plan, teamwork, or stronger tools. Naruto thought about it. He remembered the times he tried to do things alone, fighting powerful enemies without listening to his friends or ignoring advice, because he wanted to be the hero. Each time, he ended up struggling until someone helped. The villagers laughed, relieved that the danger had passed. Some even clapped for Naruto's effort. He might not have stopped the fire, but his determination had at least shown how much he cared. Later that evening, Naruto and Kakashi sat together at Ichiraku Ramen. Kakashi ordered his usual miso, while Naruto slurped down his fourth bowl of pork ramen. Guess he really did spend all his money on ramen before his marriage. Between bites, Naruto said, You know, Kakashi-sensei, today was kinda like when I say I'll become Hokage just by shouting about it. That's just a cup of water. I guess I need real training, and that's the big water jutsu. Kakashi nodded. Exactly. Dreams are fires too, Naruto. Can't put them out or light them up with tiny drops. You need real fuel, or in your case, real effort, training, and wisdom. Naruto raised his chopsticks like a ninja sword. Then watch me. I'll train harder than anyone else. Next time there's a fire, I won't just throw cups of water, I'll summon a whole ramen tsunami. Kakashi chuckled under his mask. I'd hate to see the village drowned in noodles. They both laughed, and Naruto slurped the last of his ramen with renewed determination. A cup of water can't put out a cartload of burning firewood. Means trying to solve a huge problem with an effort that is far too small. And it won't work. Just like Naruto's cup of water couldn't put out a blazing fire. Sometimes we need the right tools, bigger plans, and teamwork to face big challenges. Hope you liked the video today. See you tomorrow, kids.
Our story today is called Why Everyone Was Scared of the Fox. Once upon a time, deep in a lush green forest, lived a mighty tiger. This tiger was strong, fast, and feared by almost every animal in the woods. When the tiger walked through the forest, even the birds stopped singing and the rabbits held their breath. But not all animals were scared of him. One clever little fox named Jamie thought, "The tiger may be strong, but I am smart. Maybe my brain can outsmart his muscles." One sunny afternoon, the tiger was prowling near a river when he spotted Jamie drinking water. With a grin, the tiger said, Well, looks like I found my lunch." Jamie's heart skipped a beat. His fluffy tail twitched nervously, but he quickly forced a confident smile. "Lunch? Me? Oh, mighty tiger, you must be mistaken." The tiger narrowed his eyes. "Mistaken? I'm the king of the forest. I don't make mistakes. You're small, you're tasty, and you're mine." The fox raised his paw dramatically, as if he were giving a great speech. "Oh no, I am not your lunch. In fact, I am the messenger of the great forest god. Every animal in this forest obeys me." The tiger blinked. "Obey you?" He burst out laughing, his loud roar shaking the trees. "Ha ha ha ha, don't be ridiculous. You're tiny and weak. Who would obey a fox?" Jamie puffed out his chest. "If you don't believe me, why don't you walk with me through the forest? You will see for yourself how all the animals bow and run away when they see me." The tiger scratched his chin. He was curious. Could this little fox be telling the truth? "Fine," said the tiger. "I'll give you a chance. Lead the way. But if you're lying, you'll be dinner." And so the fox and the tiger marched side by side into the forest. The first animal they saw was a deer grazing peacefully. As soon as the deer lifted its head and saw the tiger and fox coming together, its eyes grew wide with terror. "The tiger is here," the deer thought, and it bolted away faster than the wind. Jamie smiled and said, "See? The deer respects me so much. It didn't even dare to stay." The tiger frowned but said nothing. They continued walking. Next, they met a family of wild boars. Normally, the boars would grunt and fight with smaller animals, but the moment they saw the tiger's sharp teeth and powerful body, they squealed in fright and scattered into the bushes. Jamie flicked his tail proudly. "There, you see, even the boars fear me. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, thank you." "You are great," the tiger was beginning to wonder. Could it be true? As they walked further, they passed by monkeys swinging in the trees. The monkeys usually made loud, playful noises. But this time, they froze, stared for a second, then scrambled away, shrieking, "Run! Run! The fox is here!" The tiger tilted his head. He thought, "Wait, are they really afraid of the fox?" Jamie, meanwhile, was strutting like a royal king. "Oh, it's hard being so respected. Everyone runs away when they see me. But you understand, tiger. This is the price of great power." Soon, the pair reached the heart of the forest. Everywhere they went, animals fled in terror. Rabbits dived into holes, birds flew into the sky, and even a bear turned around and disappeared behind a rock. The tiger was now convinced. He looked at the fox with new respect. "Fox, you really are powerful. I never knew you had such influence in the forest." Jamie smirked and adjusted his whiskers. "Well, it's not easy being me, but someone has to do it." Of course, deep down, Jamie knew the truth. The animals weren't afraid of him at all. They were terrified of the tiger walking right behind him. But he was clever enough never to mention that. From that day on, the tiger treated the fox with caution. He no longer thought of him as lunch. Instead, he thought, the fox must be important if even bears and boars fear him. Jamie enjoyed his new reputation. He walked proudly around the forest, always making sure the tiger wasn't too far away. Whenever the tiger joined him, the animals fled, and Jamie pretended it was all because of him. But when the tiger wasn't around, Jamie was very careful. He avoided fights, kept a low profile, and stayed far from bigger animals. After all, he knew that without the tiger's shadow, he was just a little fox. The lesson is simple. Sometimes people look powerful, but they are only borrowing the strength of others. Just like the fox who borrowed the tiger's power, appearances can be deceiving. In school, there's a student named Lily. She isn't particularly tough, but her older brother is the captain of the football team and very popular. Whenever Lily gets into an argument, she says, "Do you really want me to tell my brother about this?" Immediately, other kids back down. They aren't afraid of Lily, they're afraid of her brother. Lily is using the idea of the fox who borrowed the tiger's power. True power comes from within, not from pretending or hiding behind someone else. Did you like the video today? Share your thoughts in the comment section.
Our story today is called Link and the Unbreakable Spirit Deep in the Kingdom of Hyrule. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and Link was stuck in a hole. Yes, you heard that right. The hero of courage, the boy in green, the chosen one of the Master's sword, was trapped waist-deep in a muddy pit. "Why does this always happen to me?" Link muttered, pulling one muddy boot free, only to sink the other even deeper. Navi, his fairy companion, circled above him, glowing like a tiny lantern. "Hey, listen, don't give up," Navi chirped. "Remember the old saying, even if you fall 100 times, you keep standing up," Link groaned. "I've already fallen into this hole 3 times today." "It counts as 3, Navi answered cheerfully. That morning, Princess Zelda had given Link a mission. Retrieve the Crystal of Light from the dreaded Mount Doom, a mountain so cranky that even clouds avoided it. The crystal was the only thing powerful enough to keep Ganon, the powerful and massive demon, from plunging Hyrule into eternal gloom. Easy, right? Except Mount Doom was guarded by traps, monsters, and paths designed to make heroes quit halfway. But Link was not the quitting type. He was the type of hero who never gave up, even if he had hundreds of failures. Or at least, he was trying to be. After finally escaping the mud pit, Link trudged up the steep slope of the mountain. The ground was so slippery, it was like trying to climb up a greased slide. Every few steps, his boots slipped and he tumbled back down. "Ah, my knees," he complained after his 5th fall. Navi shouted, "Stand up again." So Link wiped the dirt off, tightened his belt, and tried again, and again, and again. On his 20th try, he finally reached the top, his hair a mess and his face streaked with mud. "See," Navi cheered. "You made it." "Yeah," Link said, panting. "Can't wait to go downhill with my shield slide." That completes the first Slippery Hills trial. The second trial was the Riddle Troll. Inside a cave halfway up the mountain, a troll blocked the path. He was enormous, with a nose like a potato and a grin full of crooked teeth. "You shall not pass unless you answer. You answer my riddle," the troll stuttered. Link sighed. "Of course. It's always riddles." The troll cleared his throat. "I roll downhill. I make you sweat, chasing heroes I've never met. I'm rocky, round, and hard to stop. Guess me wrong, and you'll go splat." Link scratched his head. A chicken? Wrong?" The troll bellowed. "An ocarina." "Wrong again? A cow wearing gloves." The troll roared with laughter. "No, no, no." Link groaned and slumped to the floor. "This is impossible. I'm not good at this." "Don't give up yet, Link. Think," Navy reminded him. So Link kept guessing. He guessed a potato, a cuckoo, Ganon's weapon, and even a Sheikah toaster. The troll shook his head at every answer, enjoying the game. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks, you are wonderful. Finally, after what felt like 100 guesses, Link suddenly said, "A falling boulder." The troll looked shocked. You got it." Link smirked. "I don't stop trying. Even if I was wrong 100 times, I'll try again." The troll grumbled, but stepped aside. "Fine, you may pass. Stubborn hero. Here comes the final trial." At the summit of Mount Doom, the Crystal of Light floated on a pedestal. But guarding it was a giant stone golem with glowing red eyes. The golem swung its massive fists, smashing the ground like thunder. Link charged forward, sword in hand. The golem swatted him across the arena. Link staggered up. Okay, that hurt. He tried again and got knocked aside. Again, flattened like a pancake. He lay on the ground, staring at the sky. Navi, I can't win this. There's just no way. But Navi's light hovered close. Link, falling isn't failing. Failing is when you stop getting up. Something sparked in Link's heart. He gritted his teeth, stood up once more, and raised his sword. This time, he watched the golem's movements carefully. When the fist came down, he rolled up against it. He jumped on top of the golem and found a glowing piece of mineral. Finally, with one last shout, Link leaped forward and smashed his secondary weapon, a Boko club, onto the weak spot. The golem roared, crumbled into rubble, and the pedestal lit up with shining light. Link grabbed the crystal of light, holding it high. Back in Hyrule Castle, Princess Zelda welcomed him with a smile. You did it, Link. The crystal of light will protect Hyrule for generations. Link, covered in bruises and dirt, grinned proudly. It wasn't easy. I fell 100 times. But I stood up 101. Zelda chuckled. That's my hero. And so, the kingdom of Hyrule was saved. Not just by the Master Sword, not just by courage, but by an unbreakable spirit that never gave up, no matter how many times it fell. Moral of the story. The phrase, even after 100 setbacks, you do not bend or give up, means unyielding perseverance. We all stumble, fail, or fall into mud pits, sometimes literally. But as long as we stand up again, we can face even the biggest challenges and save our own kingdoms, just like Link. Did you enjoy our story today? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Bye for now. I know the Naruto series is our audience's favorite. Enjoy our story today. It's called When Love Gets Too Salty. Naruto Uzumaki was not the best at handling delicate things. He could solo fight Pain, who was the 6 bodies controlled by Nagato, save villages, and shout his dreams loud enough to make the whole world listen, but when it came to relationships, he was as clumsy as a ninja on roller skates. It all started one sunny morning at Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto and Hinata were having a rare date without missions, paperwork, or kids pulling on their sleeves. Even though Naruto accidentally broke Hinata's favorite mirror this morning, she was a little upset, but didn't say much. The steam from the ramen rose like clouds of happiness, and Hinata smiled shyly across the table. Naruto was halfway through slurping his 3rd bowl when he made a mistake. Hinata, you know, Naruto said with a mouthful of noodles, you're just like ramen. Hinata blinked. Am I? Yeah. Warm, soft, and sometimes a little too salty. The ramen shop went quiet. Even the flies in the corner froze. Hinata's chopsticks slipped from her fingers, clattering against the bowl. Did you say too salty, Naruto? She whispered, her face turning red, but not the usual shy blush. This was volcano red. Naruto, sensing danger but too slow to dodge, tried to fix it. No, I meant tasty. Delicious, like miso soup, but heavy. Did you just say heavy? Hinata stood up, her chair screeching like a kunai on stone. So you think I'm salty and heavy like old miso soup? No, wait. Don't activate your white eyes. It was just a compliment gone wrong. Naruto panicked. But it was too late. Hinata stormed out of the ramen shop, leaving Naruto behind with a broken bowl of miso ramen and an even more broken heart. The news spread quickly around the village. Naruto made Hinata mad. People gasped like it was the end of the world. Sakura crossed her arms. Naruto really doesn't understand women, does he? And Sasuke, who happened to be passing by, smirked. Then he walked away. For 3 whole days, Hinata avoided Naruto. At home, when he tried to talk, she would suddenly remember she had 2 water plants that didn't exist. When he waved to her during training, she turned to Neji's photos and said, "Cousin, give me strength." Naruto, who could never sit still, grew desperate. He tried writing an apology letter, but the handwriting looked like a ramen order form. He tried baking a cake, but it came out shaped like a frog with a sad face. He even asked Kakashi for advice, but Kakashi just shrugged and handed him a copy of Make Out Paradise. "That won't help," Naruto yelled. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Finally, Naruto came up with an idea. If their love were like a broken mirror, he would glue it back together, literally. He went to a shop and bought tools and glue. Then he spent an entire night gluing all the shuttered pieces together and decorated the mirror with silly stickers of ramen bowls, foxtails, and little hearts. On the back, he even wrote, "I'm sorry for being a blockhead. Please don't be salty at me. Love, Naruto." The next morning, he stood in front of Hinata's room. He knocked bravely on the door. Hinata opened it, looking both surprised and slightly annoyed. "Naruto, what are you doing so early?" Naruto puffed up his chest. "Hinata, our love is like your favorite broken mirror." But look, he turned around dramatically, almost dropping the mirror on his foot. "I fixed the broken one." Hinata looked shocked, and she immediately felt watery in her eyes. "Yeah, so we can see ourselves together forever, just two of us." He grinned so wide his whisker marks stretched. Hinata's lips trembled. At first, Naruto thought she was angry again, but then she burst out laughing. You're so silly." She giggled, covering her mouth. Naruto scratched his head. "Well, yeah, but I'm your silly husband." Hinata's laughter softened into a smile. She reached out, touching the corner of the mirror where Naruto had stuck a crooked ramen sticker. "You really stayed up all night doing this, didn't you?" "Of course." "I'd fight 10 more wars before I let you stay mad at me." Later that day, Naruto and Hinata went back to Ichiraku Ramen together. This time, instead of storming out, Hinata laughed until her eyes sparkled. The whole shop filled with warmth, not just from the steaming bowls, but from the simple, silly truth that even when mirrors break, ramen spills, or words come out wrong, Naruto and Hinata always find a way to stick the pieces back together. I hope you learn the wisdom of our story today. The phrase "a broken mirror joined together again" is about reunion after separation and the enduring power of love and fate. Even if relationships, families, or situations fall apart, there is always a chance to mend and rebuild if there is sincerity, effort, and destiny working together. Hope you enjoyed the story today. See you tomorrow, kids.